This week's hot article is, what cycling apps are you guys using to track your fitness, to track your health, to do your mapping, to do your coaching and indoor training? That's kind of always a question that I get, or rather that kind of goes around the office, is what are you using? And that's one of the things that you're curious about also. So let's roll through this and figure it out together, all right? Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, some of the things or some of the topics or some of the subjects rather that some of the apps will help deliver on are tracking and fitness, sometimes sleep, because that's also an important component of doing your apps, mapping and trails, coaching / indoor training. So for example, we all know of Strava. Strava is a wonderful kind of packaged tool that will do your maps, will share your rides with people. It'll let you know kind of what's going on around in the community. But the one downfall is that you need to be following people to kind of, see what else is out there and to see what other people are riding. Not that the mapping feature isn't good, but that's my 2 cents on it. I've never used Map My Ride, which is a Under Armour sponsored, I think, app, but some people in the office use it. I don't personally. I prefer Strava, I think, like most people. Wahoo Fitness. I feel like this is a very contentious one because you're either in the Garmin camp or the Wahoo camp, really. I like Garmin, but Garmin has its own weird ecosystem as well. As an app, like, you can follow people within that community, and it'll all sync basically to Strava. Strava's got a monopoly on things. This is one of the ones that are really cool, training apps, or Training Peaks, not training apps. This is what it is, it's a training app. Training Peaks, rather, is a really cool thing because it will help connect you with a coach, or if you know of a coach in the area, it's actually a place where your coach can upload workouts, upload data. I know that I'm looking for a coach right now. If you are a coach, holler at me, BikeShop@hearst.com, because I've got some questions for you. So that's one of them. The Zwift companion app, so that's a really good one in conjunction with Zwift, because you're obviously going to need to train, but then the Zwift companion thing allows you to kind of interact with the ecosystem, text your buddies on the group ride that you're having indoors, which just feels weird now because you can just text them. I don't know, it feels redundant. Anywho, Trainer Road, kind of like Zwift, but just another alternative. One other one that people would recommend is the Sufferfest, I think, is one. So this is stuff if you're into mountain biking, for example, Trailforks. That's going to be a local network of uploaded trails. I think there is a cost, so there is a monthly cost to most of these apps as well, which, anyways, one more app that you need to pay for. Anywho, Komoot's really cool, so that's like kind of the European version of Strava. It's a very useful tool if that you're traveling abroad. You can kind of dive into what the locals are using in that area. I know that for a lot of people that don't like Strava, they use Komoot. And nutrition. I know that I was using this at one point just to track what it was that I was eating, my sugars, my carbs, but I like to eat and I just like snacking now, so I just stop with all that stuff. Safety first and safety last. I really could not recommend this more to anybody. The First Aid American Red Cross app. That's a really important one. I mean, listen, check yourself before you wreck yourself because it can get real quick. It can get real quick. I think that's how I want to say it. You can get real very quick, maybe. I don't know. Anywho. There's so many different apps out there, guys. I could keep going on for a little bit about it, but what apps are you guys using? If there's anything that I haven't mentioned here that you guys recommend as like this ritualistic thing, please let me know, because I know that I've got a bunch of people coming up in a second that are going to let me know what it is that they're doing. So hang on for a second. I'm going to start pulling in my coworkers and we're going to have some fun. Give me a sec. Guys, this is Monk. He helps out on the behind the scenes stuff with all things video. Question for you, because it will come up in a second.
Ask away.
What cycling questions, not questions, what cycling apps do you use to track your fitness, your mapping? What do you use to kind of, guide you on the bike?
Well, Gabe, to answer that, the app I normally use is Strava, but I often forget to put it on, so realistically, maybe every 1 in 100th of my rides are recorded. Okay. So I tell people I go a lot farther than I actually do. Plus, fair. I ride an e-bike, so I think putting that on Strava, that's just a big strike against me.
No, I don't think so. I think all miles are legitimate. I don't think there's ever a wrong thing or ever a wrong mile. So if you don't know what Strava is, now you know. All cyclists are beautiful. All cyclists are beautiful. That is 100% the reality.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't Strava. It doesn't matter. At least you're biking, right? Out of curiosity, what cycling apps are you using?
I use Strava mainly.
Okay.
Thing I've been hot on right now lately though has been using Sauce for Strava, which is kind of a plugin that you can use on the desktop side. You get a lot of the functionality.
Is this a cheat code?
Yeah, it's a bit of a cheat code. Up, down, left, right, BA
Okay,
start.
sweet. I'm into it.
But it replaces a lot of the functionality that you get out of Training Peaks,
Okay.
but without the cost. Another one for a lot of detail that you get is if you're using SRAM Axis
Okay.
on your drivetrain, is to use the Axis app. So you get to look at a lot of metrics, like
Okay,
what gear
cool.
you were in, how long you were in that gear, what power you had in that gear. It's like
unlocking
data
gold.
geek.
Cool.
It's a data geek wealth of knowledge.
So I've got Jesse Sutherland here. He is the, can you just say it? Because creative director. My short-term memory is terrible here. Yeah, so please tell me what apps are you using for the bike right now other than Strava?
I'm using the Wahoo Element
Okay.
for the computer to go to Strava.
Okay. Are you using any training? Are you on the bike? Are you doing any indoor stuff right now?
No, when the weather gets colder, I'll do Zwift.
Okay. So we have Zwift as well coming up. Thank you so much, Jesse. You probably know him already. That's Colin. Colin does his thing. Colin is coming in off of a ride right now, off of the lunch ride. The question that I have to ask you is, what cycling apps are you using? And is there anything new that you would recommend to anybody else?
I use, Strava, obviously, just like a lot of people. The new add-on that I've been using is Polymer.
Okay.
It's by a company called Polymer Workshops. They added this little ride app to Strava, so you can kind of get a cool-looking little map. Socks.
Sorry.
Socks over.
We can take that later, but anyways.
And it gives you a cool little shareable thing to put on
Can I see it?
Instagram. It looks,
Oh, sweet. That's so minimal. I like that.
yeah, really nice, minimal.
Huh.
Polymer Workshop.
Okay. So Polymer Workshop. What are you going to start doing any indoor training coming up that would help? Is app-based?
Besides Swift? Not really.
Okay. So
Just
Zwift
a lot
is.
of my own training. No training plans, just vary
Okay.
myself.
There are other apps out there, people for training that we know
Yes.
of, right? Like I think Training Peaks is one of them.
Training Peaks, yep.
I think Wahoo makes a training
Yeah.
plan thing as well, but maybe that just got bought out. I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure. Anyways, anywho.
They used to use a lot of their like weekly FTP building apps and all
Okay.
that stuff built into Zwift. Those were always good.
Okay, sweet. Okay. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
We have some other apps here that we'll get through in a second, but we'll have to grab some more people. So Colin, thank you so much. Go get showered. You smell wonderful. I've got Bill next. So, we're going to have him in. Let me switch that side to this to make sure that it's actually that. There we go. Cool. Bill, how's it going today?
Great. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you. What cycling apps are you using currently?
Besides Strava.
Besides Strava.
Does GCN Plus count?
GCN can
Because I
count.
watch a lot of racing on GCN Plus.
Okay, that's
All right.
awesome.
I also use the Poetry app after a ride, which I know is a little weird, but
Okay,
I've got it right
what is
here.
that?
So you
Ooh.
can't, I come in from my ride and you can like spin and it'll give you like a poem like,
Oh,
so
sweet.
today's ride was joy and aging, and it'll spit out a little poem. So I do, however I feel after the ride.
That's
just read
awesome.
A little verse.
I like that. Okay, so.
Not quite a cycling app, but an app that helps me cycle.
But I still like that. I think that
Yeah.
that's an important post-ride ritual almost
Yes.
to the ride.
Exactly.
Okay,
All right.
awesome. There you go. So that was Bill's take on, cycling apps after the fact.